global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello beautiful people, welcome back to Global Happenings Today YouTube channel. So many things happening behind the curtain, and in a moment we're going to go through what some of the hush tones that's been said behind the scene over the tribunal cases. But before we go into the newspaper to find out exactly what's been said behind the scene, like and subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button beside it. You see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Well, according to the news, some lawyers, petitioners, and political parties involved in election cases at Panel 1 of the National and State Houses of Assembly Election Tribunal in Abuja are expressing their dissatisfaction with the sluggish pace at which the panel is handling the hearing of petition. They are concerned that if immediate action is not taken, most of the cases before the tribunal will not meet this designated time frame for completion of the hearings. Speaking anonymously, of course, lawyers representing both petitioners and respondents have criticized the delay in handling matters at the tribunal, emphasizing that it may hinder the pursuit of justice. They argue that Panel 1 in Abuja is exceedingly slow and fails to facilitate the hearing of petitions for both parties, as witnesses are not given adequate opportunities to testify. The financial burden of bringing and maintaining witnesses without a chance to present their testimony is burdensome for both petitioners and respondents. One of the lawyers voiced their concern, stating, and I quote him word for word, he said, if the President of the Court of Appeal does not intervene, the petitions before the tribunal will expire and the litigating parties may suffer financial hardship. I take that again. If the President of the Court of Appeal does not intervene, the petitions before the tribunal will expire and the litigating parties may suffer financial hardship. Petitioners in particular risk losing their cases through no fault of their own. The lawyers, petitioners, respondents, and litigants involved in these cases have collectively raised their grievances about the slow pace of the tribunal proceedings. They commend the other three panels and the governorship panel for expediting their cases. In these panels, numerous cases have been concluded with written addresses already ordered and nearing adoption. To address this issue, they call on the President of the Court of Appeal to urgently either disband the Panel 1 and redistribute the cases among the remaining three panels, or appoint new personnel to expedite the process. They argue that the tribunal should postpone rulings, applications, and objections until the judgment stage. They argue that the tribunal should postpone rulings, applications, and objections until the judgment stage, allowing parties to present their witnesses effectively. They highlight the frustration of individuals who have brought in multiple witnesses from Rivers State only to keep them waiting without the opportunity to testify. It is crucial for the President of the Court of Appeal to intervene promptly and rectify the situation, they assert. Now, very quickly, some of us may be wondering what's this all about. Well, this is actually about the court cases at National and State Houses of Assembly Election Tribunal. Don't forget that we have the presidential PEPT case, which honestly they have really expedited action, and in fact they're actually at adoption stage where they are trying to adopt their final written address. And of course we also have the governorship own, of which also they've called some witnesses, and they've also called for documentations and the likes. I'm talking about that of Lagos, where Sanwo-Olu is the governor, and the likes of GRV Gbadebo is contesting against his governorship re-election. We're also looking at that of Enugu, of course, of which he wanted the court to forget the issue of NYSC forgery, of which that is not going to suffice. So the case has moved on as well. But all of them are actually running simultaneously along with the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, and it's making a lot of sense. All right, so a lot of persons believe that also for that of national, because don't forget that National Assembly also, State House of Assembly also, and all that, they all have cases as well. Some of them believe that their mandates were stolen, and they also went to court. But they just realized that some of them, their cases are in Abuja, and there's a time frame. Okay, we all know about that time frame, of which it is believed that if they fail to, exercise whatever it is they're doing at that particular time frame, they may likely lose the case. Both the petitioners and the money, financial burden involved of bringing in witnesses, keeping them in Abuja and waiting for them. And at the end of the day, the time for the processes, the bureaucracy is really much, where they're still trying to do adoption, objection, and before time is gone. They're only saying, why don't you follow the way other cases are being done? Instead of bringing, you keep witnesses 2-3 days, they will still not have the opportunity to testify. After a while, they are busy people, and so they want to go back to their schedules. Bringing them back again, it's really with all this 520, 550, 600, 700 naira per liter, depending on which part of the country you live in. It's not funny, and they say, why don't they follow suit? Or if it's too burdensome for this, either they change the leadership, the one handling this particular assembly petitions, either they change the person handling it, or they redistribute the cases now to other court appeals cases that seem to have expedited action. Because the truth be told, by the time they're through with adoption and final verdict giving, and you are still in the places of objection, my lord, it clearly shows that you're not ready for the real deal. And why a majority of Nigerians are really not looking into this issue of national state assembly and all that is simply because all eyes are actually on the judiciary over the presidency. Everyone know whether APC, PDP, LP, because that's where the cocoa lies. All the majority of the decision that will be taken as a country and as a people depends on who is at the helms of affair. So yes, all eyes are on that judiciary, but if it's simply because probably your persons are not in other parts, if not just as important as it is to other Nigerians. But I could still remember the reason why LP won in most part of the country, especially in the southern part of Nigeria, simply because people don't want to take chances. So anywhere they see LP, they just, as they are voting for Peter LP, they vote for any other one. They don't want to hear that the one they voted for is not even the presidential, so they don't want mistakes. So I could relate, but they're all scared now because both the litigants, the petitioners, the respondents. But for me, if you ask me personally, the respondents, it will favor the respondent more, because the petitioners are the one trying to petition the respondent that seat you're sitting is not your seat, it's my seat. And if they say they waste so much time to the point that they don't even have enough time to showcase their witnesses, and they don't have enough time to give the strength of why they said that this person doesn't deserve that seat, I'm afraid the respondent, they actually have a few days. Let's go wrap it up. Let's put in that conversation.